Okay, welcome. My name is Taylor Jimenez, and I'm going to be the social worker that's going to be working with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, so today we're going to be covering some informed consent forms that will explain what we're going to talk about, explain what our sessions are going to look like. So just the setup of our sessions, and then some important information about therapy that you should know. I know that we talked um, briefly last time, and you said that you had never been to therapy before, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So, how are you feeling about trying therapy?
I'm a little nervous and anxious. I'm nervous.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's okay. Trying something new can always be scary. Do you have any questions for me before we get started? Anything that you would like to know?
Um, I just want to know if my foster mom would have access to these to know what we talk about in this session.
Yeah, so no, she will not. Um, there are some exceptions to that though. In a case of an emergency, or if I feel like you are in danger, somebody else is in danger, that is the exception to that. But other than that, no. The information that we say during our sessions will be confidential.
Okay.
Okay. Um, right. So, let's go ahead and get started then. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And this is kind of lengthy, so if at any time you have any questions, feel free to pause me, and um, we can stop. Okay.
Okay.
So, um, to start out again, welcome. This document contains important information about the professional services that I provide and our business policies. It also contains summary information about the act that we call HIPAA. So it's a federal law that provides privacy protections and patients' rights about the use and disclosure of your protected health information. And we will use your protected health information for the purposes of treatment, payment, and healthcare. Other than that, though, it's kept private. And okay, so in general, counseling is a relationship between two people that works in part because of the clearly defined rights and responsibilities held by each person. So as a client in counseling, you have certain rights, and then you also have certain responsibilities that are important for you to understand in order for this to work appropriately. There are then also some legal limitations that I briefly mentioned earlier that you should be aware of as far as limits to confidentiality. And then me as your counselor, I also have responsibilities to you, and we're going to discuss those.
Okay.
So there can be many different types of goals for the counseling relationship. Some of these are going to be long-term, such as improving the quality of your life and learning to live with what we call mindfulness and self-actualization. Others may be more immediate goals like decreasing anxiety or depression symptoms, learning to develop healthy relationships, changing behavior, or decreasing or ending substance use. So whatever your personal goals may be, they will be set by you individually according to what you want to work on in counseling. And I might give suggestions on how you can reach that goal, but ultimately it's up to you. You're the one that decides. Okay. And there
Yes.
are some risks and benefits. So some potential risks is that it is a really intensely personal process, and it might bring up some unpleasant memories, some unpleasant emotions that are uncomfortable. And there's also no guarantees that counseling is going to work. Sometimes clients make improvements for a little bit, but then they go backwards after a little bit. And also, it can be frustrating because progress might not happen very quickly. It might be very slow. It requires a very active effort on your part. So, in order to be the most successful, you you're going to have to work on the things that we discuss outside of the session. So, there might be times when I give you like a challenge to work on throughout the next week. And making sure that you're participating in those will help the progress.
Okay.
So some of the benefits to counseling is that it can help you develop coping skills and make behavioral changes. It can also reduce any symptoms that you might be having and improve the quality of your life, and as well as learning to manage difficult emotions and learning to live in the present. Normally, as far as our appointment times, they're going to be about 50 to 60 minutes in duration. And usually it's once per week at a time that we agree on, although it might end up being that you don't need sessions as frequently, and that's okay too. The time scheduled for your appointment is the time that's assigned to you and you alone. That's how I set up my schedule. So if you need to cancel or reschedule a session, I ask that you provide me with at least 24 hours of notice. If you miss a session without canceling or cancel within less than 24 hours, you're most likely going to be required to pay for that session unless we both agree that you were unable to give 24-hour notice due to circumstances that are beyond your control, like in the case of an emergency or something.
Okay.
Um, Okay. Also, you are responsible for coming to your session on time, and if you're late, your appointment will still need to end on time. So if you're late, then you're not going to get the full appointment amount.
Yeah.
And then, as we discussed before, everything that you tell me will be confidential. If there is any information that you would like to be released, you can sign a consent form before that information is released, and then whoever you sign the consent form for is who I can talk to about specific things. Um, there again are limitations to confidentiality. I might consult with one of my supervisors or another professional counselor that I work with. And this is just to help give you the best support possible. So if I need maybe some support and running something by one of my colleagues, then I might consult with them. However, if I do, then no identifying information like your name or anything will be used. Um, And then also, I am required by law to release any information if I feel like a client poses a risk to themselves or a risk to others, as well as in cases of child abuse or abuse to the elderly.
Okay.
Additionally, if I receive a court order or subpoena, I might be required to release some information. Um, However, I will limit the release of this information to only what is absolutely necessary. So I'm not going to be releasing more information than that. And then if you were to participate in group counseling, it can make confidentiality a little bit more difficult. However, we do still stress that it's best to keep all of the information that's heard in group and not use it outside. However, I cannot guarantee the other members will abide by that. I also do have the right to remove any group member should I feel like they have violated the rules of the group. And then there are some specific laws and agreements regarding telemedicine, and you'll see the acronym TAC. It's just technology assisted counseling. So, uh, so you're going to have to sign additional, I guess, an additional paperwork to participate in these types of sessions because they're a little bit different than in-person counseling. Some of the benefits of telemedicine is that it reduces the stigma of obtaining mental health services and it's more convenient. It reduces the overall cost and time because there's no driving to and from the office. It provides the opportunity to have real-time monitoring and reduces the wait time for scheduling appointments. And then it also um, provides increased availability of services to clients that aren't able to leave their homes or who have limited mobility or who struggle to get transportation. And then it's important, though, that there are limitations specifically to technology assisted counseling. These include the fact that I'm not able to completely see all of your body language or your nonverbal reactions. And so there are going to be times where I might miss something due to that. And then due to technology limitations, I might not be able to hear all of what you're saying and may ask you to repeat things sometimes, and that might get frustrating. It's also possible that technology might fail before or during our session. And although every effort is made to reduce confidentiality breaches, some breaches of information may occur, and that might just be that like somebody hacks the system or something like that. It's a little bit more difficult to predict. So to reduce the effect of these limitations, I probably will ask you to describe more in detail about how you're thinking, feeling, and acting than maybe during a face-to-face session. And then you may also feel the need to do that as well. And if you're not understanding something that I'm saying, I might need to describe a little bit more about the thoughts that I'm trying to convey as well.
Okay.
Do you have any questions so far?
Um, I just how long it would take for me to get better. I just want to get better when I
Yeah,
finally go to meet with my family, um, and be there
yeah,
for them.
of course, of course. So it really just depends on you individually. So there's not really an estimated time that I can give you at the moment. Um, it's really up to you. And then it also depends too on how much progress you feel like you're making each week. So if you are really intentionally practicing all of the things that you're learning, it can go faster than maybe if you're just not really thinking about therapy um, and during the week, just during our sessions. Um, I think usually it's at least a couple months. Um, and um, it really just depends on the symptoms that you're having.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you for answering that.
Yeah, no problem. So in order to join our sessions, it's going to be similar to what happened today. You'll either get an email or a text link to connect to a over the phone or video counseling session. And I, again, expect you to be available at the scheduled time, prepared, focused, and engaged. And it looks like you're doing great today. So I don't really have many concerns about that. Um, and then I am going to be connecting with you in a private location with nobody else in the room, so nobody's able to hear us. And you're also encouraged to be in a private space as well. That way you can feel like you're able to speak openly without being interrupted by others. And that can really help you be authentic.
Mhm.
And it also provides protection for your confidentiality as well. So if you're in a place where people can hear you, that's not something that I can control as far as confidentiality. So we suggest that you do everything that you can to ensure that you are in a private place. And during a phone session specifically, it can be a little bit more difficult just because phone conversations can be intercepted either accidentally or intentionally. Video conferences are a little bit more secure in that way. Um, but if connection does end up being lost during a phone session, I'm going to call you back immediately and I will continue to try up to 3 times to call you back. And then I will also remain available to you during the entirety of your scheduled session. But once that time is over, then I will have to go to my other sessions. And then if the reason for connection loss occurs on your part, you're still going to be charged for the full session. However, if it's something on my end, then um, we'll discuss that. And I also might call you from an alternate number that might be just, it might show up as restricted or blocked. So just be sure to answer if we do get disconnected.
Okay.
Okay. The same thing goes for a video session. Um, and if the video session is lost for something on my end, we probably will try to complete the session over the phone or try just an alternate method of meeting. And there is to be no recording, screenshots of any kind during any sessions, and it could be grounds for termination of our services. And then the payment for services will be collected at the time of the session based on the fee that we agreed upon. And I did already talk about that with your foster mom, so no need to worry about that. Additionally, I am only able to practice in California. I will change this. It's supposed to say California because that's where I am licensed. And so if you do end up moving outside of California, it is really important that you let me know because I'm only licensed to practice in the state of California.
Okay.
Again, as far as cancellations, 24-hour notice, please. And if there is like a no-show appointment, you are still going to be charged the full amount for the session. And again, if you're late, then we end at the same time that we would normally. Who would you like your emergency contact to be?
My foster mom, I think that would be appropriate for
Okay,
this.
awesome. I will put her information in this form before I send it over to you via email.
Okay.
Okay. And if a situation occurs, either you're in crisis or it's we get disconnected and you're really, concerned about your health, you understand this is saying that you understand that you either agree to call 911 or go to your local emergency room or contact the National Suicide Hotline. And if I have concerns about your safety at any time during a phone session or video session, it is required by me. I'm required to break confidentiality and call 911 if I am concerned for your safety. Okay. And so I will write the it says by signing below, you agree that you've read and understand all of the above information. And so I will select a place for you to sign later.
Okay.
And I do keep records of your counseling sessions, which includes a treatment plan for your goals. And these records are kept to ensure that we maintain your goals during your session and that we have a direction that we're going in. They are not going to be shared except with respect to the limits of confidentiality. And should you wish to have your records released, you are required to sign a release of information that specifies what information can be released. And records will be kept for at least 7 years, but may be kept for longer. And they are always going to be locked up and stored appropriately. Again, these are the fees. We don't have to discuss that because I did already discuss that with your foster mom, and insurance as well. It's just really important that if there's any changes to your insurance, that I am notified as soon as possible.
Okay.
And then I am often not immediately available. If you were to call me or email me, I'm not able to answer my phone when I'm in a session with another client or otherwise unavailable. At this time, you are welcome to leave a message on my confidential voicemail, and I will return your call when I am able to. If you feel like it is an urgent matter, again, please call 911 or a crisis line.
Okay.
Okay, and you are um, you're fine with providing me with your email address, right?
Yes, I feel like that would be easier.
Okay, okay, great. So I will would you like to provide me that with that right now and then I can enter it?
Yeah, it's Kendra
Mm-hmm.
08 at gmail.com.
Right. So then I will email you anything that I need to, and that includes getting this form signed. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So that is pretty much everything. Would you like me to send you a finished copy of this form?
Yes, please.
Okay. Awesome. And let me make sure there's nothing else that I need to go over with you. Oh, for our next session, we will be reviewing or we'll be going over, it's called a biopsychosocial assessment. And it's really just where I ask you lots of questions and kind of get a history of you and then even things that you have been struggling with. And that way I can be a little bit more informed as we are exploring our treatment plan goals.
Okay. I I do have one question.
Mhm.
As far as our sessions, will you be taking notes during our sessions?
Yes. It's either honestly for me kind of depends on the day. I either take them during the session or after the session. I do keep notes just to make sure that I'm remembering what we have in our what we discuss in our sessions.
Okay.
But
And then
again, I'm sorry.
those will be part of the recording. Um,
Yeah, those are part of the records that I keep. Yes.
okay, yes. Okay. Just
Yeah, and those are part of the things that are kept in a confidential place, a locked up, and if they're kept electronically, it's encrypted and all of that good stuff. So your information will be safe.
okay.
Okay. All right. So I will go ahead then and see you next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.